I'm going to quickly review the procedures to help identify a can jam and a soda vending machine and a stack soda vending machine. Your first step is, of course, to read the owner's manual, review any safety precautions. And this video is just intended to be supplemental. At this point, I've already unplugged and removed the power from the soda vending machine. On the motor cover, on some machines, they just pop off. On some machines, they'll have a Phillips screw down here. So I've already loosened this Phillips screw. So basically, I'm just going to lift up on this motor cover, and it's going to kind of come out of place. And very important, if you ever have a soda vending machine and it's not accepting money or the columns are not working, the very first step is to just check for the cam positioning on all the motors. So what I'm going to do is, like, I'll zoom in here. So right here you can see that the inside cam has fallen into the notch. So this is what I identify as the notch. This cam has fallen into the notch. This third switch here is in the notch. This one is in the notch. When I look at this motor, I've immediately identified this is the problem, that right here it's not essentially at home position. So something is going to be wrong with this column. This is in the notch, this is in the notch, and finally motor number 8 is in the notch. So anytime I see that this motor switch is not here, I've identified a problem. I mean, other things to look at, if this switch was broken or anything just doesn't seem correct or look like the others, then that's where you want to focus your attention for fixing the can jam. So next I'm going to shoot in and basically show you a picture. So the next step, I get down here on my knees and I try to look up, and then I kind of hope that I get a visual confirmation of a can that's jammed. To help relieve pressure on the jammed can, like the first procedure I recommend is I release this brake. Sometimes when you do this, you'll hear the motor and the rotor oscillator, they're going to automatically spin backwards because it wants to come back to home position. So when you push this brake in, that could potentially release the pressure, and sometimes it'll spin back. But you kind of want to press this brake in, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reach in right now, and I kind of tend to want to slide the cans forward. This one was just kind of jammed in. Sometimes they're going to be very crinkly. Potential for sharp edges, so when you're removing these jammed cans, be very careful. If you think it's unsafe or you fear you might cut yourself, I would recommend just stopping and getting help from someone else that's more familiar with these procedures. So at this point, I've kind of unjammed the can. The power to the machine is off, and just in my process of releasing the brake, the motor kind of restored to home position. So when you power the machine back, sometimes the motor will spin and go back to home position. Another important thing, after I remove the jammed can, there's a thermal overload in the motor, so sometimes this motor will not come back on for 10 minutes. So basically at this point I'm going to plug the machine back in, if the motor is not in home position, I give it a chance to automatically happen. If you actually can visually see that the switch is in the home position, you may get lucky and you can go ahead and start vending and test each motor and make sure they're working.